Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Yeah, well, and again, it sort of falls into the realm of self-evident at some point. It's like, well, you want things to be better or worse? That's the first question. It's like, and you think better. It's like, no, that isn't what I mean. I mean, you really got to think about it.
Yeah.
Because there's part of you that wants things to be worse. You dance around in the flames like you'd be glorying in it. I mean, Hitler, when he committed suicide and Europe was in flames, it's like, well, that's what he got what he was aiming at. You think, well, he was aiming at victory. It's like, well, that's one theory, but I wouldn't count on that being true. What do you really think Hitler was aiming for victory? Really? That's your analysis? No, he was aiming for mass murder and death and everything in flames.
Yeah, it's like the Bane.
Exactly
it's the Bane archetype in Batman.
Sure, of course, exactly.
Just
Or
wanted to see everything
Joker,
burn.
even better.
Yeah, all of those.
Who knows if that killed Heath Ledger?
Right.
Because I mean, he
accessing that force.
Oh yeah,
That's like the utter extreme
rough,
force of chaos.
Yeah, because one of the things that's so interesting about his performance, and he really tapped into this, is that you really saw that when he burned the pile of money. It's like, no, you don't understand. I want everything to be worse than it is. Everything. It's like, you don't want the money. Those guys weren't evil. They were just criminals. They're barely even on the path, right? Because you want your car. They want your car. Their means of achieving it differ, but they're in the value structure. And the Joker character is like, no, he's outside the value structure completely. It's no, you don't get it. I want to make an art of pain.
It's even, thinking about it now, it seems like an even more extreme polarity of the devil than the usual archetype of the devil. It's usually the archetype of the devil, king of the demons, into power, likes making deals, likes bargaining.
Right. That's Milton's Satan. Yeah.
Right. And this Joker is actually, you can just take it even a little farther. And this is like absolutely just wants maximum suffering.
Right. For the sake of suffering.
For the sake of suffering
evil.
itself.
Evil is the worship of suffering for the sake of suffering. Yeah. And Ledger played that out quite nicely in that role. It was quite brilliant.
It
really.
was.
Yeah, it really was. And it's really...
Yeah, calibrating that side. And I think it's good to see those archetypes and then calibrate. And when you have a truer understanding of the Christ consciousness, which has obviously been misconstrued in a lot of ways. And then you have these two anchors on either side and you get to understand, all right, here's the spectrum, and I think that's helpful for like orienting ourselves.
Well, that's why people are so, at least part of the reason why people are so enamored of bad guys. Like, the thing about a bad guy is that he's actually more understandable than a good guy. And easier to believe in some sense. You can really believe in the existence of a bad guy. And that's a good guidepost, because if the guy that you believe in is actually bad, then that's an indication that there's such a thing as good. It's just the opposite of that. Now, what the opposite of the Joker is not so easy, because it's not Batman, right? No, and Batman knows it, and that's actually part of the complexity of that interaction in that particular movie. Is the Joker knows that Batman's not his opposite. He's not the Joker. He's not the devil incarnate. He's actually a good man, but he's no Christ.
Right.
And so the Joker's constantly reeling him in. Says, "You're more like me than you think." It's like, yeah, and there's no doubt about that. So then what's the opposite of suffering for suffering's sake? Well,
love for love's sake.
Well, I guess it's something like that. Yeah. You see that in the Sermon on the Mount too. I mean, as far as I can tell, the basic message of the Sermon on the Mount is something like, assume that being is good and that your role is to further that good, and that the most appropriate way to do that is to tell the truth and concentrate on the day. It's something like that. And that strikes me as extraordinarily wise. It's like, set your sights.
Tell the truth, tell love.
Tell the truth.
And I love using those words interchangeably, truth and love, because I don't think you can be in love with someone without being in truth with them.
Right.
I don't think you can be in truth with someone without expressing that love. That's why when people use that analogy about, oh, your dress is ugly. Well, that's truth on a very fractional level, exactly, right? Yeah. Because it's not containing the love, and the love which sees that it doesn't matter what the fuck you wear, because you're beautiful, not because of your dress. You're beautiful regardless. And if you want to wear a fucking sack, wear a fucking sack. We'll laugh.
That would be the higher
cruise around
order.
with a sack.
Yeah.
That's a higher truth. That's a higher love. And I think recognizing that and holding that as that ideal, and not getting lost in, well, this is my judgmental opinion based upon some very small aspect of the self.